Hi, it's Matt. I just wanted to do a short video about 5 myths that I used to believe as a physio, which I now know not to be the case. So in order, number 1 is posture. Now, I was originally, believed that sitting upright and being rigid all day and keeping your back nice and straight would be the best remedy to get rid of posture pains, but actually it's been proven that the actually opposite is the case, that sitting is actually a passive activity. So if you're having to hold something tight and be rigid and pull your shoulders back, is actually not a good thing. So to think of it, if you were to clench your fist and hold your fist all day for 6 to 8 hours, you'd expect your hand to be tight, and I read that in a blog a couple of days ago, and that's the way to think it. If you hold everything rigid, it's going to get sore, it's going to get tight. So the best way to get around this is to keep moving. It's not to sit for long periods. I'm currently doing this video and I'm slightly slumped and slouched forward, and that's completely fine because I will be up and I'll be moving and going in the opposite direction, so stretching backwards and generally moving around. So what I need to say is posture is a very active movement, it's not passive. So sitting upright is not a good thing to do. It's better to keep moving and not to stay in the same position. So that's number 1, is posture. Number 2, I used to believe that a scan would be the ultimate way to find out if something's wrong with someone. For instance, you scan a back, if someone's got back pain, you'll find out they've got this pushing on that, and it must be a disc, it must be a joint. Actually, 90% of back pain is non-specific, which basically means that there isn't a correlation to any scan or any results. It's down to various factors that we don't necessarily know about, so a scan is not going to show that. And we know the first point of call with any kind of stiffness and aches and pains is exercise, and it's generally the exercise of your choice. So any kind of movement, something you enjoy, something you can adhere to, is the best type of exercise for you. Which takes me on to number 3, which is core stability. Now, I used to believe that everyone that had back pain would need core strengthening and need to have a very rigid core and not obviously allowing any movement in that particular area. And I know the actual opposite to be the contrary. Actually, if you've got a rigid core, you're more likely to have problems, because again, back to the point about posture, if it's very tight and stiff, it's not going to move as well, and it's going to put pressure on different areas. So I treat more people that are actually rigid in their core and have really strong cores, and actually get them to try and relax and stretch and move better than actually be rigid the whole time. So some people do need core stability, and it's part of a good program in terms of exercise that you do, but it's not the only kind of go-to thing to do if you've got back pain. Which leads me to number 4, which is stiffness. So you automatically assume that stiffness is bad, and stiffness is definitely not bad. If you are not stiff at the other end of the spectrum, if you're very, very mobile, or if you actually have zero stiffness, you wouldn't physically be able to stand up. So stiffness is what keeps us into position. So again, I treat people that are hypermobile, which basically means their joints are very, very mobile, and they would be desperate for some stiffness, which you can work into. I said to people, if you're stiff, we can work into that, we can get that moving and stretching. But if you're very, very hypermobile or very lax, it's very, very difficult, because you need a lot more than stability to counteract, to give yourself more of a balance. And the final one, number 5, definitely related to Christian, has come on, is that strength training, I used to believe, shortened muscles many years ago, and actually it's definitely the opposite. If you a well-structured program where you strengthen and lengthen at the same time, it's actually shown to be more effective than stretching muscles and actually gaining muscle length. So stretching is good, but also strengthening under load is really important, and it's not going to make you short and tight as long as you balance out your body with other exercises. So they're the 5 myths that I now know that are not true. Number 1 is posture. It being rigid and stiff is not good. So the best thing to do is to move. Number 2 is scans. A scan isn't always going to get you the results that you want, or it's not going to give you the answer. So a good assessment from an experienced therapist or experienced surgeon, or what's going to tell you what is going on and what best to do. Number 3 is that yes, core stability is part of a good rehab plan, but it's not the be all and end all, and becoming rigid in your core is not necessarily a good thing to treat your back pain. Number 4, stiffness. Stiffness is good. We can work into stiffness. We all get stiff from time to time, so we can always stretch out stiffness. And number 5, strength training does not make you short and tight. Actually, it can lengthen you out. With strength training is a key to a well-rounded program. I hope you found those 5 tips and myths useful. If there's anything you want me to talk about again, then please leave a message or comment below if there's anything that you found useful in that video. Thank you.